Oh, I know that sound. It's time for the Beer and News Report. Hi, and welcome to the Beer and News Report. Cheers. Today I'm drinking Gummy Worms. It's a chewy pale ale by New Glory Craft Brewing. With a name like Gummy Worms, I thought it can't be that bad, right? I'm not a big fan of pale ales. Even worse, I hate IPAs. So I thought I'd give this one a try, and it's okay, but I don't think I'll be buying it. For some reason in my head, I thought a chewy gummy worm, that's going to be a great beer, right? Tastes nothing like gummy worms. Of course not. It's beer, right? Anyways, it's okay for pale ale. If you like pale ales, you'll probably love this one. I'm not a huge fan of pale ales, but it's definitely drinkable. Cheers. Well, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a huge board gamer. I love board games. Every time I tell people I love board games, they always say, well, what's your favorite? There's too many out there to have one favorite. So today, I'm just gonna, this is a show for all the people who ask me what's my favorite board game. I just say, go to this show and just look at it and listen to it, and I'm gonna tell you what my favorites are, right? So, and I love war games, which you probably think, oh, it must be Risk. And I like other board games, and you're probably thinking, oh, Monopoly or Scrabble. I own those, they're okay, but I like complex games, and you're gonna see that. So let's get started. Let me show you my first board game. This one is, oh, let me tell you something else. You'll see some, in the background, you'll see some white flashes go by. That's because it's 5 o'clock. Traffic's going by, and this is right next to my window, so you're seeing the sunlight off the windshields of the cars as they go by, all right? Don't worry, it won't ruin the show. All right, cheers. My first game is Through the Ages. Now here's the whole setup for the game. On the bottom right and left are the player boards. The left is the blue player board, and the right is the green player board. These are the cards that you'll be playing with, and they represent different ages, starting with the Ancient Age, and then Age 1, Age 2, and lastly, Age 3. The green cards represent leaders. For example, in the Ancient Age, you could be Julius Caesar. This gives you +1 military strength and an extra military cube. As you move to Age 1, you could be Christopher Columbus, which allows you to colonize without being penalized. The purple cards are wonders, such as the pyramids. The 3-2-1 means that it takes 3 material to build the first stage, 2 material and then 1, and you finally have built the wonder. Once you get it all built, it gives you an extra action cube. As you go through the ages, things get more expensive, as you can see with the wonder Taj Mahal. But the benefits, after being built, get better too. The brown cards are for your food and materials engine. The red cards build up your military. The gray cards build up your urban centers like sciences or arts. The gold cards build up your government. Here's the market, and it's the green player's turn. He decides to buy an iron card for 1 action cube, which goes into your hand. And before you can actually build it, you have to develop the technology for 1 action. Now once you do the science and research it, you can build it, and that takes another action cube and 5 material cubes as shown on the card. Now you can add it to your original materials engine as an upgrade. Let's say you wanted to upgrade your government. Well, here's the Republic card, and it costs 2 action cubes to buy it, as shown on the board. When you eventually build the Republic government card, you get 7 action cubes, but stay at 2 military cubes. Now we have the market, the science board, and the green player's turn. He wants the cartography card, which costs 1 action cube. He decides to research the cartography for another action cube and lowers his science by 4 points. This gives him an extra military strength and 2 points towards colonizing. This is shown on the military board. You win by having the most culture. Some cards like the Taj Mahal, Gandhi, and Democracy build up your culture engine, which move you up the track. Here you're set at 8 and you move up 8. Finally, the gray cards are event cards, attacks, or defense. A political action allows you to flip a card. Sometimes these are cards for colonizing, some for bonuses. Other gray cards give you tactics or defense or making pacts with another player or going to war. So what'd you think? Wasn't that a great game? Because it's going to last probably 4 to 5 hours. It will all depend on how many players. If you only have 2 players, probably last 2 hours. If you have 4 players, maybe it'll go 4 hours, maybe 5. If there's a lot of newbies that don't know the game that well, it might go 6 or 8 hours. The first game's wicked long, but it is so cool to play. It has so many different things to do in it. If you like board games, you definitely got to try that one. Cheers. Okay, the next board game is a war game, and this is my favorite. It's called Twilight Struggle. This is the board for Twilight Struggle. This game recreates the Cold War, where one player is the USA and the other player is the USSR. An overview of the game: you have to do things like required military actions. This could be a coup, but if you do a coup, it could affect your DEFCON status, which, if it drops to 1, it's nuclear war and the game is over. At the top of the board is the turn order. One side of the marker shows USSR and the other is for the USA. Now, down here is the victory point tracker. Going to the right helps the USA. Going to the left helps the USSR. There's even a tracker for the space race. As you move along, you get benefits. At the very top is the stage marker. Now on the board, a star with a blue background means that the USA has full control of this ally. If I zoom in, you can see that the star value is equal to the country value. Both of them are 4. When a star equals the country value, then you're in full control. If we look at Yugoslavia, the USSR has some influence over it, but it's not in full control because the marker doesn't equal the country's value. But if you look up to Poland, you can see that the marker is fully red because the value of the marker equals the value of the country. So the USSR has control of that country. Now here are the cards. Some cards have a red star, which helps the USSR. Others have a white star, which helps the USA. Some cards have both red and white, meaning whoever owns the card, it helps them. For example, the China card. There are 3 stages in this game: early war, mid-war, and late war. Now with the cards, you have a choice of either playing the star value for action moves or doing the printed text below the card. Hands down, that is my favorite war game, but a close second is Memoir 44, and the reason why I like it is because there's so many miniatures. The miniatures are cool. You recreate real World War II wars. Definitely check out both of those if you're into war games. Cheers. Now my next one is a cooperative game. There's a lot of cooperative games out there. This one just stuck with me. It's Pandemic, and there's tons of versions of Pandemic out there. But the newest one that I've got is called The Fall of Rome. I'm going to show you the original game of Pandemic, as it was the one that got me hooked. Here's the board where you are scientists trying to find a cure for diseases, which are represented by the colored cubes. Players are represented by colored pegs. You collect cards with cities on them. The colors are the ones that match the colors of the disease. The deck up top is how new diseases spread. It has cities and colors to show you what disease goes where. Each player has a role. You could be a scientist, a researcher, a medic, or a bunch of other roles. Each has a special ability. A research center is represented by a white building. Now, if you draw an epidemic card, 3 things happen. 1, you increase the rate of infection. Next, you draw a bottom card from the deck and place 3 cubes of that color into that city. Then you shuffle the discard pile and place it on top of the deck. Then draw the number of cards equal to the infection rate and place cubes on them. Now some cards have special events, like a quiet night. This event cancels infections for one player's turn. Another is airlift, which allows you to fly a player to any city. To win, you just have to cure the 4 diseases. To lose, well, there's a number of ways you could lose. You could lose by running out of cards. You could lose by running out of cubes of any of the diseases, or if you have too many outbreaks. Once the outbreaks get down to this level, you lose. Again, you should check out all the different types of Pandemic out there. They're fun, they're cooperative, so either everyone wins or everyone loses, and it's just board gaming at its best. Cheers. Okay, last but not least is a game called Horrified. And I'm putting this one out there because I just like the Halloween feel to it. And there's 2 versions out there. There's International Monsters and the American Monsters. I'm going to show you the American Monsters version. But this game, if you have kids, I think they'll like it. Again, it's also cooperative, so everyone wins or everyone loses. But I just like the Halloween aspect to it. And let me show you. Here's the layout of the game. If you move around the board, you can collect items in the area that you went to. Now, when your turn is over, the monsters also could move. And if they do, They attack you using these dice. There are 3 outcomes that could happen. A blank, which nothing happens. A hit means that you have to get rid of an item to protect yourself. Otherwise, if you don't, you're dead. Or a special power shown by the exclamation point, and you have to look at the monster's card to figure out what the special power is. Now, this is the monster board, and to kill it, you have to solve its puzzle. Each monster has a different puzzle. For Bigfoot, you have to unscramble the picture so that you can see clearly that it's Bigfoot. The Jersey Devil puzzle is really tricky because you have to solve 3 clues, and then from those clues you can figure out what citizen will help you kill it. It's tricky. For Mothman, you have to get 4 items where the traps have been placed and then take those items and put them on its board. All the monsters, once the puzzle has been solved, there's a final condition at the bottom that has to be met to finally kill it. Then there's citizens that'll pop up in the game and you have to protect them and then take them to the place shown on the bottom. If you do, you get a perk card. These cards give you special powers over the monsters, and you want to get as many as you can. Each player gets a character with a special ability, like moving to any space, or grabbing items from an adjacent space, or moving to where another investigator is. Each turn, you will be pulling items from the bag and putting them on the designated space. This is how you can get more items as you move along. Finally, you lose if the monsters kill too many people. That could be you or the citizens that appear. This marker keeps track of this, and if it gets to the end, you're dead. So that was Horrified. Don't you think it's cool? The monsters and stuff and the puzzles. I just like it. It's fun to play. You should definitely give it a shot. Cheers. Well, my beer's almost empty, so that means we're at the end of the show. If you want to contact me, I can reach this email address. Definitely look into the games that I showed you, but there's so many out there. There's bound to be one that if you didn't like the ones I showed you, there will be ones that you will like. Of course, if you like the show, please click that like button. And if you want to get notified of new shows, you click that subscribe button, the little bell icon next to it. That'll notify you when a new show is being posted. Until then, keep your beer cold and your interest hot. Cheers.